So, welcome to the third session in the nonlinear system analysis class. Today, we are going to see phase plan method, basics of phase plan method, and what are singular points and some definitions. Okay, so consider one system, a mass spring damper system. This is a standard equation of mass spring damper system with where x is the displacement of that body, m is the mass, f is the friction coefficient or damping coefficient, we can say, and k is the spring constant. Okay, so this system does not have any input; it just has initial condition. Okay, so consider this that there is a mass. You pull it out, you keep it there, and you leave it at t is equal to 0. Okay, so how it behaves after that, that we are going to analyze. Okay, now this above equation may be written in the standard form. A standard form for the second order system is this: d2x by dt square 2 zeta omega n dx by dt omega n square x is equal to 0. Okay, this is the standard form for a second order system, where this omega n is the natural frequency and zeta is the damping factor. Okay, now we will translate these omega n and zeta in terms of m. We can do that. Okay, if we divide this whole thing by m, we'll have this as k by m. This will be f by m. So this omega n square will be k by m. Omega n will be under root k by m. And this from this equation f by m is equal to, if you put 2 zeta omega n, you will find out zeta also. Okay, so you can very well easily find that out. Just to let you know that this is possible. Okay, now what we do in that see, this equation can be written in two first order differential equations this way. Okay, see, here we choose one, the first state variable as x and second variable as x2, that is the velocity. Okay, so we get x1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to, this is nothing but the this equation, x2 dot will be this, is equal to minus 2 zeta omega n x1 plus this. Yeah, okay, there is x2, this is x1. Okay, so we can plot this now. See, this is a second order system. We can find the solution of this, right? And if we know the x1 of 0 and x2 of 0, then we can have a plot of the system. Okay, I think the plot. So this is the plot for the linear system. Okay, you know how this is with the zeta. Okay, if zeta is equal to 0, then the system is undamped system. It will behave something like this. Okay, just see these graphs only, left side graph. If zeta is between 0 and 1, it is underdamped system. So it will have some oscillations and it will try to go to 0. Okay, and the last one is zeta greater than 1. So this is overdamped system. So for overdamped, you won't have any overshoots or undershoots, and it will settle to that 0 point. Okay, so these are the time response curves that we have seen so far in our control system courses. We have seen this much. So today what we are going to see is this phase trajectories. Okay, so what are they, will see. Okay, so this way we can plot their time response plots. But what happens if they are non-linear? Okay, so the differential equations representing dynamics of the system, that are equation number 5 and 6, if there were a non-linear term here, what will happen? So just to explore that, we expanded that k into k1 and k2. Okay, considering that spring to be a non-linear spring. It may be hard or soft depending on the value of k2. Yeah, we have seen that if k2 is greater than 0, then it is called as hard. If k2 is less than 0, then it is soft. Okay, so in such cases, see, obtaining a closed form solution of x1 x2 is not possible generally. So you cannot find a solution of a system if there are such non-linear terms here. How do you find out solution of this system? Maybe you can find out A matrix from this, and once you know the A matrix, you can find e raised to at. The solution of the system will be x of t is equal to e raised to 8 into x0. That's it, right? But here, in this case, you will not get a close form solution. You will not get a matrix, basically. First thing is that thing. Okay, because see, x2 dot, whatever you will write will be the second row in the A matrix. You will have minus f by minus k1 by m into x1 minus f by m into x2. But how will you represent this term into A matrix? You cannot. Okay, so the state space, what can we say, state space treatment fails here. Okay, so here a graphical method, that is phase plane method that we are going to see today, is very helpful. Okay, it provides essentially the same information as obtained from the time response curves. So instead of obtaining time response curves, we do that, the phase plane. Okay, phase plane is a kind of plot only. So instead of time plot, we do phase plot. Okay, so visual display of system response from any set of initial conditions, but the method is restricted to second order system, but it can be only done for a second order system. See, the thing is that a phase plot is one state with respect to other state. It is not one state with respect to time, second state with respect to time, and so on. It is x1 versus x2. So if you go for x1 versus x2 versus x3, it would be a 3D plot. And we cannot draw a 3D plot, right? Easily. Of course, you can draw a 3D plot using MATLAB and those things. And yeah, also fourth order plot, it will be 4D. But you don't know how to go for 4D. How to represent a 4D visually, that you don't know. So the basic thing is that this phase plane method is limited to a second order system. Okay, now this time response and phase plot can be obtained using the MATLAB or any other software. If you have Python or C++ or any other mathematical numerical software, we can compute this. Okay, so understand this. See, solution finding is difficult, but you don't need solution to get a time plot. Understand this. See, if you just put x10 x20 here in this equation and see how they evolve, you don't need to find a solution for that system. You understand this? Okay, you just need to find the that means you just give the system input. You have a mass spring damper system. You don't need to model it or anything. You just pull it to initial condition, leave it, and measure how the position changes. Okay, just measure the position and velocity. You will have the plots. Okay, so those plots are needed to find the phase plane. Okay, so see here, the coordinate plane with the axis that correspond to dependent variable, that is x1 x and its first derivative x dot, is called phase plane. So it could be they may be dependent, they may be independent, but of course they are dependent. That's why the system is controllable and all. But this x1 and x2, you can just plot x1 and x2, x1 with x2 with respect to x1. We generally take x1, the first state on the x-axis, second state on the y-axis. Okay, so the curve described by the points in the phase plane is called as phase trajectory. Okay, you might say that at a particular t is equal to 10 seconds, let's say, it will be a single point, right? x1, x2. So means the coordinates of that point will be x1 comma x2. Okay, and as you go on increasing the time, that point will move. Okay, so the graph of those points is called as phase trajectory. Okay, now in case of our linear mass spring damper system, this will be the plot, or this will be the phase trajectories. Now as you can see here, this point is x1 x2 of 0. That is, as you can see here, see, x1 has some value, x2 is 0 at t is equal to 0. So the initial condition, it will have x1 0 comma 0. So this is that point. Okay, so it is starting from that point, and if you see the time and the values that it is giving, it will be this. Also, since you are this electrical engineering students, you know that a sine wave plotted with respect to cos wave results in a circle. Yes, this you know. So this will be the phase trajectory. If you continue this time again, if you let this wave complete for one period, it it will give a complete circle, and it will remain in that circle. Okay. Again, this for the damped system. For the underdamped system, you can see that it will, these values are getting less. Okay, so you can say that it is going towards the zero. If you extend this, it will spiral towards the zero, and if this is critically damped, it will not leave the quadrant. See, it is not leaving the quadrant, it is going to the zero without doing this overshoot. So overshoot in the phase plane domain will look like this, something like this. Okay. So the next one is the trajectory of a critically damped linear system for given initial condition. Yes, okay. So we'll see those. What are those graphs? So given initial condition of displacement, initial condition of velocity, and initial conditions of displacement and velocity. So there are basically three phase trajectories. Okay, three phase trajectories plotted on that picture. We'll see that. Okay. So such family of trajectories is called as a phase portrait. So trajectory is single. If you plot multiple phase trajectories in a phase plane, that figure is called as phase portrait. So this is a phase portrait. See, this A is initial condition of x1 only. So x2 we are assuming 0, and just the position initial condition. So it will go from this to this. Now this is a critically damped system. Okay. The second one is only x2. No, x1 is 0. So it will go from here to here. Okay. The third one is x1 and x2. So both, if you have initial conditions, it will start at this point. See, these, it is not necessary that it will go like this only. It may go counterclockwise also. It depends on the system behavior. Okay. It depends on the equations that you have for x1 dot and x2 dot. But generally, a graph that you get will be in this fashion. Okay, as you can see that it is spiraling. Okay, and if you, even if you take some other initial conditions, let's say in this quadrant 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, they will move in this fashion. Okay, so you can draw a plot in this way. This is called as phase portrait. Okay. See, the power of phase plane method lies in the fact that an easily constructible family of trajectories provides a graphical picture of total system response. So what does total system response means? For various initial conditions, where does the system go with respect to time? That you can quickly know from just observing the graph. Okay, or what region of initial conditions result in a unstable system? What region of initial conditions result in a stable system behavior, that you know. Okay, so glass its phase portrait is sufficient to answer many important questions regarding system behavior. Yes, and more complete information about system, if required, can then be obtained by performing simple graphical constructions on the phase portrait. So these graphical constructions are kind of limiters, you can say. Okay, so like I said, a region of initial conditions gives unstable system response. Okay, but if that region is not our region of interest, okay, our actual system will behave in a circle that is giving all stable values, then we are good to go. We don't need to worry about other region which we are not even considering, where it is unstable. You understand this? Okay. See here. So is this understood? What is phase plane and the definitions, the basic definitions? Yes, if you understood. Okay. So we'll move ahead and go to the next part, that is singular points. Okay, there are a few more definitions that we'll see. Okay, here there are some definitions. Uh, yes. Okay, so we'll see first definition, that is singular point. So consider a nonlinear system. See, generally when we describe a system, we used to take x dot is equal to ax plus bu. Hereafter, we will take x dot is equal to f of x comma u. Okay, where this f of x comma u could be a nonlinear invariant, time variant, anything. Okay, if there is x comma t comma u here, then it is called as time invariant. If it is time invariant, then we don't take t here. It is basically time invariant. Okay, so f of x comma u, and we consider u as constant or zero, or no input change we consider, then it can be represented as x dot is equal to fx. Okay, now this is similar to your x dot is equal to ax. Okay, there it was a into x, here f of x. Okay, the this is the representation. Okay, so this representation can be considered for autonomous systems, because for autonomous systems external input is not there. Okay, autonomous nonlinear system, you may say. So for such systems, consider the points in the phase space at which derivative of all state variables are zero. So what are these points? What does this mean? See, for such system, consider the points in the phase space, the phase plane. Basically, space and plane are the same thing. Phase space at which the derivative of all the state variables are zero. So where does this happen? You consider, don't go in the phase plane yet. Okay, where does the derivative of all state variables are zero? So you will have x1 dot is equal to 0, x2 dot is equal to 0, x3 dot is equal to 0. When will this happen? When all of them are constant. Yes. When x1 previous and x1 next are same, that it is unchanging, then its derivative will be 0, right? So that is called as the equilibrium point. It is called as singular points in this case. In the phase plane or nonlinear system analysis domain, they are called as singular points. Okay, so let's consider that there is a point x1, x2, x3. Let's not get to third order, x1, x2. Okay, so you will have x1 dot is equal to 0, x2 dot is equal to 0. So that means that at from that point it is not going anywhere. It is staying at that. If you increase time, like if you are going ahead in the time, so at 10 seconds it will have same value x1 and x2. At t is equal to 20 seconds also, it will have x1, x2 same. Okay, so it has reached equilibrium. So that one particular point we call as singular point. So x1 comma x2, that pair is called as a singular point. It is written plural here because there could be multiple equilibrium points. There could be multiple singular points for a system. Although name of this is singular, there could be multiple singular points for a nonlinear system. Okay, this is also called a singularity. You can singularity, yeah. So it is coming from that singularity. So if the system is placed at such point, it will continue to lie there if left undisturbed. That's why we discussed. Like it will not move from that point. So for studying the response of the equilibrium point to small disturbance, we consider linear systems. Like I said, there is a quote from Richard Feynman. We consider linear system, or linear systems are important because we can solve them. So whenever we are studying about nonlinear systems, these linear systems will pop up. just to make understanding for us clear. Okay, because we go step by step, right? So the first step in every analysis would be linear systems. Okay, so let's consider a linear system. X dot is equal to ax. So the equilibrium state for this can be given as xc, where this xe dot will be 0. So ax is equal to 0. So from this we can see that x is equal to 0 is a solution of this system, is a equilibrium point of this system. X is equal to 0. If A is non-singular, see, if A is not resulting into 0, then this Xc is equal to 0 is the only solution. Yeah, you understand this. If Xc, let's say it is a diagonal 1, 0, 0, 0. You can take X2 as anything to make it 0, right? X1 you need to take 0, absolute 0. X2 you can take anything. So there will be multiple equilibrium points. But that means that A is not non-singular. Its determinant is 0. So that is non-singular. That is a problem. So this statement works only when A is non-singular. So equivalently, if this thing, if A are non-zero, then the origin is the only singular point. This property is very important. If A matrix has eigenvalues, all non-zero eigenvalues, then origin is the only singular point. This is for linear systems only. Okay. So what if we want to shift that equilibrium point? So what this shifting an equilibrium point means? See here. So xe is a singular point. It is convenient to shift it, shift the origin coordinates to xe. Okay. Just to make that system linear like, we want to shift the coordinate system such that the xe point is the origin of the system. Okay. So we define the error variable x tilde as x minus xe. So the equation system 8, see, x dot is equal to fx, it becomes this, x dot x tilde dot is equal to fx tilde. Now this will have a equilibrium at x is equal to x tilde is equal to 0. That means x is equal to xc. Okay, when x is equal to xc, then it will have the equilibrium point. Okay, this is generally what treatment we do, the manipulations in coordinate system, so that it is easier for us to understand. Okay, also there is yeah, this, see, in 9, yeah, okay, so consider a linear system again. Consider a linear system, you know that linear transformations and how they are used. So consider this linear transformation. M is a model matrix. A model matrix means your eigenvector matrix. So if you have x is equal to mz, you can convert that system into a diagonal system. Okay, so this is a diagonal system representation of the x dot is equal to ax, where this lambda 1, lambda 2 are separate. So it is easier for you to understand the dynamics of this, because see, z1 dot is equal to lambda 1 into z1. You can directly find out the trajectory. Z1 of t is equal to e raised to minus lambda 1 t, or e raised to lambda 1 t, not minus, because yeah, the lambda will be minus, in minus. Okay, so you get these. See, you can directly find out the trajectories from. See, trajectory is traced out by the representative point P in the Z1, Z2 plane, has at any instant a resultant velocity vector associated with the motion, as shown in figure 12. Yeah, here. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what that figure is. So the slope of velocity and those are drawn here. This is the solution of the graph, or this is the treatment that is done to get the graph. Okay, don't worry about that it much. So the eigenvalues lambda 1, lambda 2 are both real and negative. So there are some cases. Okay, so just consider that we have a system z1 dot is equal to lambda 1 z1, z2 dot is equal to lambda 2 z2. Now depending on this lambda 1 and lambda 2, we are going to draw some graphs. Okay, in z1 z2 plane. Okay, if both of them are negative, we know that system is going to be stable. Okay, but one is left, one is both of them are complex conjugate, then what happens, that we are going to see. Okay, basic thing is that. So the first thing you have to write this down now. The first these are types of singular points. Okay, types of singular points. You write down one nodal point. Okay, now here both eigenvalues, if they are negative, real and negative, so not complex, if they are negative, that is they are lying on the uh, sigma axis in the S plane. If they are lying on the sigma axis, then we can say that they are real and negative. So their trajectories are shown in this way. See, so this lambda 1 lambda 2 are here, and you can see that this all these trajectories are going towards one point, that is z1 z2 0, origin, the equilibrium point. Okay, you draw these figures, both these figures. So basic, that means you can either write this that lambda 1 lambda 2 negative real part, you can write that, or you can directly draw this graph. This is graphical representation, it may be enough for you to understand also. Okay, you draw this quickly. Is it done? Now this particular combination is called as a stable nodal point. It is nodal point, no doubt, but it is a stable nodal point because both eigenvalues are on the left half, and all the trajectories, if you start at any point, let's say you start at this point, this will go this way towards the 0 0. So all points in this plane are going to 0 0. Okay, you understood this? Say yes, please say yes quickly if you have understood this. If not, then you can ask doubts. Is it done? Have you drawn this graph? Okay. So there are also two more things that you need to know about this. See, they all converge to origin, which is then called a nodal point. The Z1, Z2, 0, 0 is called as the nodal point, and it is a stable nodal point. Okay. Now, if we convert this system again to x1, x2 plane, you back transform it into the x1, x2. Now we are only in Z1, Z2. Okay. If we transform it into x1, x2, you will have a graph kind of this. Now this is a skewed figure. Okay, this is a skewed figure. Like if you draw your z1 z2 on a paper, and if you look it from the side, it will look like this. Okay, if you have drawn that graph, you just lift your notebook and look from a angle, not from the front view. Okay, if you look from an angle, you will have this view. Okay, so this view is called as this x1 x2. It is transformed into the original axis, and as you can see here, x1 and x2, both of them, they are converging at 0 0, but you can see that they will now go from the other quadrants, but they are going towards 0, and that is important. Okay, so this x1 x2 also we can call them as a stable nodal point or a stable node. Okay, so you may draw this graph, you may skip this is in presentation. Also this video is being recorded, you may revisit this. Okay, see. When both eigenvalues are real and positive, then they result in an unstable nodal point. This is your type number 2. You write second number 2, unstable nodal point. So first one was stable nodal point. Now second one is unstable nodal point. You write down lambda 1, lambda 2 are positive. So if they are positive real, you can draw a similar figure like this also, where this lambda 1 and lambda 2 will be here on the positive side, and it will give you this figure. So instead of this also, you may write, you may draw this figure, just to be just so that it becomes simpler for you. All these arrows will be going outward. Okay, so wherever you start, this x1 and x2 or z1 and z2 will blow up, like they will go on increasing from that point. They will not decrease at all. If both of this lambda 1 and lambda 2 are positive, they will not decrease at all. They will always increase. So if I'm starting at this point, it will go outward. So all these arrows you draw outward for the second figure. Okay, second is unstable nodal point. So in that case also, all the trajectories starting at z1 and z2 0 0 are going towards infinity. So that starting point is called as unstable nodal point. Okay, unstable nodal point. And it is, if you draw it in x1 x2 plane, it will look like this. It is a skewed figure of z1 z2. Here you can see all the graphs are going outward. Yeah. So is this done? We have seen two types of singular points. First one is stable nodal point. Second is unstable nodal point. Is it done? Okay. So the next one now, it becomes a little bit complex hereafter. So see. So next one is saddle point. So you have two eigenvalues. If one eigenvalue is equal to other eigenvalue but negative of that. So let's say lambda 1 is 2 and lambda 2 is minus 2. So they are situated in plus 2 and minus 2. So across, they are mirrored across the j omega axis. So if it is like that, they are real, equal and negative of each other, then see, you may refer to this figure, lambda 1 and lambda 2. Okay. So this is represented as minus lambda 2 because this is a what can we say, a negative eigenvalue. You can write lambda 1 and lambda 2 only, not this negative sign. So this lambda 1 lambda 2, if they are like this, then we will get a plot like this in z plane, and in x plane like this. You draw these three figures, ignore this minus sign. Okay, now this is saddle point. It is called a saddle point because saddle is what you put on horse and sit on it. Okay, so it is shaped like that. This shape is the saddle's shape. Okay, now here you can see that in none of the trajectories they are going towards that point z1 z2 0 0. They are going towards it and then again away from it. What is this system? Is this system stable? Can somebody tell? Is this system stable? It is unstable. Okay, and this system is unstable since there is an eigenvalue on the right hand side. But at the same time, because of the eigenvalue on the left hand side, which is exactly equal to the that eigenvalue on right side, so effect is created where it is not even blowing up, or it is not even decaying. Means x1 x2 trajectories are not even decaying, or they are not even blowing up. But you can say that as time increases, these x1 and x2 go on following a trajectory that leads to infinity here and here. Okay, so this x1 x2, if we extend this, it will follow a line that goes to infinity. So this is basically an unstable system. So you can call this as a saddle point. Okay, is this clear? So see, origin in this case is always unstable, one eigenvalue being positive. So the origin is called a saddle point, even if it is not on the trajectory. You understand this? So some points may be on trajectory, some points may not be on trajectory even. So this is that point which is not even on trajectory, but they are a center point of all these graphs. Okay, it is like that point is attracting these trajectories. It is pulling these trajectories towards the origin, right? So the next one is focus point. So it is called as a focus point when just 10 seconds. Okay, a singular point is called as focus point when the eigenvalues are complex conjugates. Okay, and here also there are two types of focus points. I think three types of focus points depending on the sigma. So if sigma is negative, they are stable focus point. If sigma is positive, then they are unstable focus point. If sigma is 0, what it is we'll see. Okay, it is also called it is a focus point as well as other thing that that is what we'll see. Okay, so you write down this. So if lambda 1 lambda 2 is sigma plus j omega, if sigma is negative, see, if sigma is negative, then it will give us a graph like this. Now draw this in y1 y2 plane, because yeah, so a certain transformation has been carried out, transform x1 to x2 to y1 to y2 to represent the trajectory in form of a true spiral. Because see what happens, if you draw x1 x2 graph, it will be an elliptical spiral. Okay, but we want to see it clearly, so we converted it into a system y1 y2. Okay, so that gives a spiral focus. See, this is a spiral graph towards the origin. So y1 y0 y1 y2 0 0, that is called as a stable focus point. So there are two eigenvalues on the left hand side of the S-plane. So you can draw that graph, lambda 1 lambda 2 on the left half of S-plane, which are complex conjugate of each other. So it will spiral towards the origin. Now if the sigma is positive, if they are on the right hand side, they are a complex pair, but they are on the right hand side, then we will have an unstable focus point, that you will start at any point and you will start going outwards. You will start going away from the origin. So here in this case, it is called as an unstable focus point. Okay, unstable focus point. So we have seen up to now how many points. First one is first one is stable node or stable nodal focus, stable nodal point. I confuse all things in one. So first one is stable node or stable nodal point. First one, this, where eigenvalues on the left hand side. Second one is unstable nodal point or unstable node, in which both eigenvalues are on the right hand side. Third one is saddle point, where one is on left, one is on right, but real. Okay, this is saddle point. Fourth is focus point, stable focus point and unstable focus point. Okay, and the last one, that is for sigma is equal to 0, it is called as center point or vertex point. Okay, now here the both of the eigenvalues will be on imaginary axis. The sigma is 0, so they are complex conjugates, so they will be lying on the j omega axis. So it will be, let's say, plus minus 2j omega. 2j omega is 2. Okay, so they will look like this. See, so y graph will be looking like this. So there will be certain points, but they will remain at that distance from the origin. If you start at this point, let's say, you will remain at that distance only. So you will remain in a circle. And if you see it in true sense in the your x plane, x1 x2 plane, it will give you a elliptical trajectory. But as you can see that it is limited in a it is bound in a trajectory. So as time increases or as time goes on, it will repeat that same path. It is neither going towards the zero nor it is going away from the zero. It is staying in a trajectory around the zero. So this we can say as it is a center point or vertex point. Is this a stable system or unstable system? Just by the lambda 1, lambda 2, if you have a second order system with both of them complex conjugates plus minus j omega, is this a stable system or unstable system? Or what is it called? Is it underdamped or overdamped? Or critically damped? What is it? So it is neither underdamped, overdamped, or critically damped. It is undamped. Undamped. Yes. So you know what is undamped? It is not damped. It is neither going towards zero. If it is going towards zero, then we can call it as underdamped system. And it is going towards, if it is going towards infinity or it is blowing up, then we call it as it is not, there is no name for that, but it is unstable system. But a situation is there where you will have a sustained oscillations in x1 and x2, so that results in this trajectory, a circular trajectory or a elliptical trajectory. Okay, so this is called a center point. So we have seen 6 types of singular points. Okay, so also there is a one question in assignment. What are the, I'll read that question out. Explain different types of singular points with graphs. Okay, so I hope that you are able to answer that question. Also, you need to submit assignments by 17th April. Okay, so there will be a tomorrow's lecture, and I think we will be able to finish this topic. Okay, the stability, limit cycles. Yeah, no, limit cycles we are not going to see, just this stability. Okay, so we will see this stability tomorrow, the concepts of stability, and how to linearize a nonlinear system. Okay, so by that time you submit the assignment. All right, are there any doubts? We saw today phase plane method and singular points. Okay, tomorrow we will see how to use this phase plane method to determine the stability of the system, and also some mathematical representation. So are there any doubts?